250 years ago, the first encounters between Māori and the crew of the Endeavour. 250 years since our histories were intertwined. The shared history of both the UK and Aotearoa, New Zealand. He whai hitori, he whai kōrero, he whai aroha, he whai Mātauranga.
UK cultural institutions house a number of taonga, Māori cultural treasures, that were traded, taken or gifted during the first encounters between European seafarers and iwi Māori of Aotearoa, New Zealand. In November 2019, the UK hosted a delegation of iwi and hapū, tribes and sub-tribes, museum curators and academics from New Zealand to connect with those taonga, build stronger relationships with the cultural institutions that house them, and to unlock and share the knowledge that those taonga hold. And this year is a particularly significant year because it's the 250th anniversary of those very first encounters between Māori of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and Captain Cook and the Endeavour and the crew of the Endeavour.
I led on the project because it was how do we celebrate these connections, these enduring connections, but also look at the interweaving of the cultures and our knowledge. And I thought a way forward would be to actually support research that looks at Mātauranga Māori, where we could sponsor postgraduate Māori students to go over to the UK and study these taonga and bring that knowledge back for their communities.
This delegation is, again, it's just different and it's very, very, very exciting, very inspiring. There are some just wonderful people with us with so much knowledge. They all seem to be experts in their field.
I see the university context as an important place to engage with in terms of making space for Māori knowledge, in terms of asserting the validity and legitimacy of Māori knowledge forms and so on.
We were in the British Museum today and we saw two amo. The amo are the carved sort of arms, if you would like, of a wharenui, of a carved house. Those two amo belong to a wharenui in Rongo Whakaata called Te Haukitūranga. Now that Te Haukitūranga is currently actually housed in Te Papa. And we, over the next 2 to 3 years, are in the process of restoring that whare.
One of the important things for us is that we've found that some of our oldest artefacts are not in our country. They're actually here, and I liken it to an insurance policy. Cook took out an insurance policy for us. So that was one of the things we're able to make use of and basically help us in terms of reconciliation and healing. Yeah.
And to understand the other viewpoints, because the relationship should never be based on one of power versus one of no power. So I find that particularly pleasing.
There is a genuine commitment on behalf of the British government to reconnect with iwi Māori. I've seen the significance of that. It's kind of hard in my time to think of a sovereign nation wanting to extend a hand out or hand of support to an Indigenous people like the Māori people.
So humbled, privileged, but hugely excited for our children around moving forward over the next generation. Absolutely overwhelmed my expectations of arriving and has easily exceeded our objectives, if you were, of coming in the first place. So I see this the first of many visits, and I see the visits becoming quite significant of Māori throughout Aotearoa, capitalising on these opportunities.
There's something special happening here in Britain that we hope to replicate back home for the benefit of Māori people, but actually for the benefit of New Zealand. We want to be relevant in the current climate of change that's happening around the globe, and we'd like New Zealand to be a leader in that space, and this delegation is an opportunity in which we can play that role.
So the hope and aspiration is to facilitate access, but also, in my mind anyhow, to establish enduring relationships between Māori and the museums in the United Kingdom.
Better understanding, better education, reinforcing that in Aotearoa New Zealand we need to teach New Zealand history. We need our young people to have access to this information.
But I also have to say that the people we've met here have recognised that this is a quest of intellectual endeavour to simply know more of what really happened, and I think that's united us, so it's been a wonderful human experience as well as one of science. I would just hope that in 100 years' time, if someone was to dig out this video clip, that they would have said, gee, they didn't know much then. I just hope that much more is discovered, because the more we know, the more accurate the stories we have of our true history, the stronger, and I think the more conciliatory towards each other we will be as a people.
As a Māori living over here, with our whānau whānui Ngāti Rānana, it's lovely. Home. I feel at home coming round the taonga and being with our people, and I just feel home is so near. Home is here. Home is here.